Welcome to Storytimer. Christine McWeeny, Cleveland, 1973. Christine Rose McWeeny was 18. She was born in 1955 to Thomas and Marilyn McWeeny. She had an older brother and a younger sister. They lived at 3537 West 48th Street in Cleveland, Ohio. She attended St. Boniface Elementary and was a graduate of Erie View Catholic High School in Cleveland. She worked for Ohio Bell Telephone as a secretary. On Wednesday, October 24th, she went with a friend to see a folk singer who was a friend of theirs. They wanted to be in the audience and support that friend at a little pub gig. It was a weeknight, and Christine had to get up early the next day, but she was there for her friend. The next morning, on Thursday, October 25th, 1973, Christine was on her way to work. She had about a 10-minute walk to catch the downtown bus each morning, but she never made it onto the bus on October 25th, 1973. A neighbor, Mrs. Oxley, heard a scream. It was the kind of scream that prompted her to throw on a robe and run out the front door to look to see what happened. A paper boy on his route also reported hearing the scream. Neither of them saw what had happened or who had screamed. It seems that someone had grabbed Christine quickly and managed to get her into a home or a vehicle without anyone seeing. Perhaps they had been watching her and knew her habit and her timing and knew her usual route and what time she would be passing. When Christine missed work that day and never came home, her father said he knew that he would never see her alive again. She was that responsible and punctual. She set her watch by the official time over the telephone every morning. Before cell phones and digital watches, you had to wind your own watch and set the time. There was a phone number you could call to get the current time. And that was Christine's habit. Her family and friends were looking everywhere that evening. Multiple searches were conducted. Large numbers of her Ohio Bell colleagues volunteered to help look for Christine. Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas all passed with no sign. I can't imagine watching the seasons change and the holidays come and go, knowing your daughter is missing. In November, Ohio Bell Telephone Company offered a $5,000 reward for information leading to a suspect. Evidence was found on Mill Hollow Lane in Strongsville, southwest of Christine's home, by about a 25-minute drive. Mill Hollow Lane is a short, dead-end wooded lane. Today, there are quite a few houses along that road, but I imagine in 1973 it was an empty and out-of-the-way place. A blood-stained bedspread and duffel bag were found there. Both were sent to the FBI lab for analysis. Blood of Christine's type was found on both. Hair and fibers were found on the duffel bag. Neighbors were questioned because Christine disappeared from the sidewalk in her quiet neighborhood. Police felt that she must have been dragged into a home or into a car. No one had seen a suspicious car leaving that neighborhood, though. She disappeared on a Thursday. I wonder if the killer watched her all week and knew exactly when she would be walking by. A tip led them to the home of Lee F. Schroeder. He lived on the route Christine walked each day. He lived very close to the Oxley home, where Mrs. Oxley had run out of her house to try to help the person who screamed so frighteningly on October 25, 1973. Schroeder allowed police to search his home. Hair, blood, and carpet fibers from there matched that of Christine and the found bedspread and duffel bag. He was arrested and charged even before Christine's body was found. The evidence was that compelling. Christine was missing for 5 agonizing months. More searches were conducted as the trial date for Schroeder was approaching. Her parents had planned a vigil service for her birthday. A part-time 16-year-old golf course worker took a shortcut to work on March 1974 at the Vallear Golf Course south of town near North Royalton. As he made his way through an area of the course that was seldom traveled, he came across the skeletal remains that were later identified as Christine. Christine's parents canceled the planned memorial vigil and instead planned her funeral mass. Lee F. Schroeder was tried and convicted of the kidnapping, rape, and murder. He wouldn't admit to the murder, but instead said that he blacked out and didn't remember doing it. He waived his right to a jury trial, and instead a panel of 3 judges conducted his trial. He was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison. I found a 1983 appeal that was denied. It seemed like he did spend his life in prison. Lee F. Schroeder died on November 21st, 2022, and is buried in Ohio. Because he had been in the Navy before he murdered Christine McWeeny, he is buried in a military cemetery with a veteran's grave marker. Christine Rose McWeeny was a good student, a solid citizen and worker. 300 people attended her funeral mass at St. Boniface Church. It was the same church she had been baptized in as an infant. Her co-workers cared about her so much they used their free time to search for her. Her employers saw enough value in her to offer a $5,000 reward in her case. Christine was just beginning to live her life as an adult. What might she have achieved if she had been allowed to live? Rest in peace, Christine.